and I would support it. But I've just found the presentations that they've given, the printed presentations were really kind of elementary. They just weren't what I expected. And there's been a couple other issues that I've seen, and I've heard complaints from other people, and it's again, if it's something we need to help collect, get by, I would support it, but I'd like to look at least at other options after this.
Yeah, let me just say that I wasn't suggesting that the chamber take the place. I'm just saying that when I look at the numbers, and I hear what you guys are saying, I also know that when Jody was the mayor, right after the fire, we had terrible stuff. And I understand the media blitz and all that stuff, but our citizens didn't know anything. Communication from this town to all of us that were displaced was absolutely atrocious. People are still angry about that. So when I look at some of their stuff, like when you put, I don't know what those qualified things were, but 3,800 people have been to a web page in 2 years or in a year and a half or whatever it's been. It's kind of like there's more people than that are still associated with the town.
That was per month.
Pardon me?
That was per month. But yes.
But the whole total number, I mean, that's what I mean. It's just like the messaging, the reports. I know people don't even look at them because when we talked about this, the data doesn't change. So, and I'm not trying to dog those people. I understand that they did a yeoman's job at a time, but that time has passed. And so going forward, and what troubled me about this was that this council, or not this council, but the council in August approved a contract that there was no money for, and it wasn't part of the budget. So here we are in February saying, oh, gee, we've got a contract with a subcontractor that's good for another 11 months, 12, 13 months, and so we need to throw $50,000 at it, I don't know where that mistake got made, but the fact that we signed a contract with the subcontractor with dedicated dollars and with no clause saying not to exceed. So going forward, obviously this is going to pass tonight, but going forward, those are things that I hate to see for the public's behalf. I hate to see the council or the town of Paradise make these kinds of mistakes or let these mistakes happen. I don't know who made it, but it's just to approve money for something that's already been decided, that the money wasn't there when you made the decision. I don't get that. That's not, it just doesn't feel right, okay? So I'll shut up there with that.
Just, we'll go back to the budget. Just to reiterate that, communication stuff. We all know that. Okay, and so there needs to be a little bit of an understanding when it comes to communication that you're not going to always do your best, or you're not going to always do what to get to everybody, but you're always going to try your best. And I think Blue Flamingo augments our great communicator here to be able to give her the resources to get there, right? And we're going to be in a different place. Right now, we're still in the process where we have trees coming down, we have people upset. We have temporary issues that are very serious. Those should be taken care of, hopefully by that year. We can then revitalize ourselves. We'll be promoting such great projects moving forward, then we can kind of look at it. So I think that is the proper way to move about, and I appreciate the support.
And let me just add that, I agree with Steve and Colette, and I've told her this. I totally support our staff in that. I understand that. And I appreciate the council's indulgence for letting me speak about my feeling about this kind of a thing. I just hope we don't have these kinds of things happen going forward. So.
Yep. Okay, so back to the town manager budget, $44,000 for investment services. That's for the meter contract. $4,800 for the HDL sales tax monitoring, which you guys also approved, I believe, in August. By the way, they're doing a great job. They're having quarterly meetings with them. The information coming out of there is spectacular. That's where I got the information on the food trucks. Another thing on that, too, is that they are updating us on the lawsuits out there. There's a Wayfair lawsuit that the state of California sued Wayfair, the internet provider, or and it kind of changed the whole landscape of sales tax. Now Amazon and all these web providers have to pay state sales tax. That goes into the county pool, and then that county pool is distributed out based on our total sales tax for the whole county. So that's kind of a crummy situation because we would have been up higher pre-fire, but it's still something, right?
But the 5%, the half cent,
Half cent comes
directly, yeah.
So they're monitoring the half cent on the Measure C, and we're getting reports back. All of the items that you expect to be getting that Measure C, we're actually getting it.
yeah.
It's really good. And then $1,000 from office furniture.
No, no, that's out.
You have to take a tour of my
No,
office.
we
and then
need it to pay the public relations.
Take a
people.
tour of my office. Okay, central services. So this is kind of those, a lot of it's IT provided, kind of those central services that kind of touch every department. 45,000 for the council chamber, audio, video upgrades. You guys are seeing that. And then 25,000 for a glass conference room and upgrades, which I did take a few people on the tour of it that had never seen it. So it is a glass conference room in the CDD building area over there, and just, which I think, Jody, you brought up, could be an area where if you guys have meetings that you guys need to like meet with somebody, it's actually available. So just let us know. From the finance accrual payout for the administrative services director, this is actually for the payout of previous administrative services director. So they're not the one that was here recently, but the one that was here previously. There's accruals that are built up. Person was here for a long period of time. That's a pretty good sized
Is that
payout.
Gina? Is that for
Yes.
Gina?
Police admin and operations, 17,198. 5,700 for LiDAR, the system training, which individuals are out there already making that work. 1,600 drug testing kits. If you've seen our press releases, taking drugs off the street, so we need more of that. 870 for batons, 870 for additional police patrol equipment, 160 for safety vests. Fire suppression is where we get good, right? Under the new allocation of benefits under the CAL FIRE contract, we're estimating a savings of $750,000 this year on this CAL FIRE contract. That contract actually expires this year, the last year of the contract. So we're actually working to get negotiations started to look at a new contract. And then they're looking for about $5,700 of computer equipment over at fires. Planning adjustments, so plexiglass barriers for the CDD, and those are actually already installed there for COVID safety measures. Engineering, 5,100 for town HVAC, 5,000 for ATP grant application support. That was already budgeted. It was 19. It was a little bit more. It was 24,000. So that's just kind of making up that difference. And then 3,000 for inspector tablets and monitors. So total adjustments, actually general fund adjustments, we actually have a negative. We actually are receiving funds back in based on this of 135,000. Measure C, we already talked about that, 300,000. So actually net fund adjustment, 163,000 because Measure C is actually included in the non-general fund. Fund 230, which is the building and wastewater. 135,000 for the code director. That also includes some for the senior code enforcement officer.
What's his total, what is the salary for that annual?
The director salary.
guess.
I don't know. I will not tell.
Yes.
I will get back
Well, I
to
mean,
you.
that's 135,000 for 5 months.
That includes benefits and all that, plus an additional individual. So I'd have to get those
Okay,
numbers for you.
just curious.
30,000 for building plan checkers and inspectors. These are for retired annuitants to come in and help. This is actually going to also be funded. A portion of this will be funded through the housing side of the building. They have a grant available to go out and to. It has to be spent by May, and what they're going to do is send these individuals out to look at these yellow tagged homes that were tagged after the fire that needed upgrades or had damage, but they were inhabitable, but they needed to do the work, to go out and actually re-inspect them. So that's going to be for that. 105,000 for 3 trucks. One of them will be for the new CDD director. 25,000 for software upgrades, and then 23,100 for brick upgrades, which is going to include a server, moving it up, and then remodeling a room down there. Campfire, $1 million for expense adjustments. Just on this one, most of this is flow through. So 835,000 for the Tetra Tech contract, which was already approved. 76,000 for 2 tree advocates. 56,000, 255 modular office and storage containers. That's actually for the yard. That's an insurance claim on that one. 10,550 for electrical equipment for traffic signals. That's also a insurance reimbursement.
The tree advocates, what is $76,000? Is that grant money or what?
That's FEMA funds. So
FEMA funds.
Yeah, so that's to administer the tree project, which is a FEMA reimbursable project.
Are those town employees, or are they contract laborers, or what? Do they go
I
away when
believe
it's
that they're
over?
contract employees. Yeah, through Spherion. Yeah, I think they're contract employees.
Okay.
Yep. And then 39,000 for public relations and marketing. That's actually a grant that is from
Well, give that to
Youth Strong.
her.
Yep, that's for
Then she only
Campfire.
needs 20 grand.
And then COVID-19 expenses, 57,000 we got from the federal government for COVID expenses. These went into air purifiers, into some of these different things that we had for COVID-related expenses. Again, fully reimbursed through the grant. And then gas tax,
That's going to go away.
well, it's not going to go away, but it's going to go down. 27,819 additional spray materials, and then a residential terrain vehicle to get the spray applications out. So knowing that the weeds and trying to keep up with the weeds will help with that. And then a canine protection unit donation fund, we're asking for an adjustment of $12,870 for a new German Shepherd puppy. So, which we've already got. And his name is? Ridge.
Ridge or bridge?
Ridge.
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 Good name.
Oh.
So we saved all that money in the Measure C place, right?
No, not in the Measure C, in the
Well,
fire
when you were
suppression.
back at the police part, right?
Yeah.
So how many more radios do we need to get? I mean, if we got $750,000, we don't have to give to the fire guys. Let's buy some more radios.
Okay, so on the radio issue, we're in the process of looking for grant funding.
Right.
Our idea is to let that run out
Right.
till the end of the year, and then in next budget cycle, if we need to pull the trigger, that'll be a recommendation to the council to pull the trigger.
But that
on
won't
those.
be until June, July, right?
Correct. So we don't want to leave money on the table. So we have grants kind of in process right now that we want to let those, see if they come to fruition. If they don't, then we're gonna ask for council recommendation to pull the trigger.
Okay. Because we just got to.
Also on this recommendation, I would like is to be able to pull the trigger on the 3 vehicles without bringing those back to council. So the 200,000, and then also pulling the trigger on all of the equipment purchases in there, and then the truck. So we can get those started, ordered. Just talked to the chief today. The police vehicles are already on back order. They didn't produce enough. So it's going to be a long time, but we
Yeah.
want to get in the hopper now so that those are
That's a
starting
big
to
deal
move
with COVID. A lot of stuff.
So just asking for approval of recommended budget adjustments.
Oh, and a green light to be able to just spend the money.
Money.
Any more questions?
Any cards?
I have no cards.
We gotta do this money stuff earlier tonight.
I put it at the end because I
Where
you
is
guys
that?
out.
Where is it?
Okay, I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Culleton, seconded by Jones to approve the 2021 mid-year budget report and budget adjustments and approve the recommended personnel changes. Roll call vote, Councilmember Bolin?
Aye.
Councilmember Culleton?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Tryon,
Aye.
and Mayor Crowder.
Aye.
Thank you.
So, item 7A, no council-initiated item agendas?
Yeah, I got it. Is that what we talk, things we want to put on the next thing?
It
That's
says
seven
none.
C.
Oh, oops. I'll catch up one day. Where am I at, Steve?
Okay. 7B, council reports on committee representation. Start with
I attended the, let me see my notes. So I attended the Butte County Air Quality Management District meeting on January 13th. And I am the alternate representative to the state board. And I think that's how that worked out. I'll have to check the minutes. And also I attended the League of Cities training. It was a 4-day training on Zoom, 2 days 1 week and 2 days the following. It was actually pretty good.
I attended BCAG and was also supposed to go to a PID liaison meeting that got canceled because it was the snow day and is supposed to be rescheduled.
I attended for the first time the Consortium of Care, or something like that. And that was interesting, and for the first time in all my history on the council, I actually took notes. So they have a 10-year plan that they put together with some grant money to deal with homelessness and stuff. So it's a regional thing, and there's a ton of money that is given to them from different agencies, governmental agencies, and it's for the region, and this committee controls all that money. And so I had gotten word from a couple of people that there's a movement on to kind of funnel all that money into Chico. Like there's even talking about buying a hotel and some other stuff. So there's a whole lot of different things going on there. They have a couple of planning sessions because this plan they have, this 10-year, it's not really a plan. It's more like just an outline of what they hope to accomplish in 10 years that's required for the money they're given. One of the good news things, they housed, the number I heard was $900,000 over the past 10 months. They housed 535 homeless people in hotel rooms. And they have a program that they're working on that's, it's something called Next Door or something, and it's to get homeless people into temporary, transitional or permanent housing. And they were able in the past 10 months to get 152 people out of the 535 that they house into that housing. There were questions about how long do they stay, because a lot of reports from other communities have come back and said within 2 years the people are back on the streets. And the question I asked was, what does it cost for success? How do you define success, and what does it cost? There was a few interesting questions. They have a budget for admin of $187,000. Oh, and when I asked about the $900,000, and if you only got 135 or 52 people out of homelessness, she says, no, it's a lot more than that. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. They got some vaccine for homeless people. They got 100 doses. And they work with all these other agencies that are involved in this committee. Amphia Health has a mobile medical unit. And so they've been to Oroville and they've been to, so I asked, what about Concow? What about Magalia? What about other areas of the community? And they don't go there yet. So all this money is kind of being funneled into just one or two areas. And that's one of the concerns a number of people had, as well as what is $186,000 of admin expenses? What's it spent on? You know, what do they do with it? So it's an interesting committee. I'm going to meet with the chair and try to find out some more about it. But I had talked to Kevin beforehand, and I said, what's our homeless number? And we have about 600 people living in tents, trailers, and what have you. they're not like out in Bidwell Park, they're not under the bridge, but they're homeless, their homes burned down. So I mentioned that, and I got blasted by one of our county supervisors who's not on the committee, but attends the meeting and asked most of the questions. So anyway, I'll keep going back to that meeting. It looks like fun. And I can't wait to share with those people. There's about 38 people on the committee that are actual members of the committee. And I look forward to the day I get to share with them my experiences of being homeless and under the influence of drugs, alcohol, and what have you. Just so they know I have some credibility and I have some skin in the game. That's it from me. I'm going to go back to that meeting.
LAFCO had that meeting, and Mark did a presentation on the sewer, which was very good, and did an excellent job of getting them up to speed and getting them ready to move forward. That'll be an issue on LAFCO from now on every month. So, and ultimately, they have the final say on the whole thing. I didn't know that, but they say yes or no in the district. So it was anyway. So that, and then just these conference calls with the tree, Ryan Burris, Director Burris, and Cole every Wednesday, and Katie and Kevin, and joyous time to talk. I just got to throw up afterwards. Anyway.
Well, I also spent 4 days on Zoom with League of California Cities Conference, and it was rewarding and definitely not the same as being there in person. So, maybe next year. I attended a Zoom meeting, the clerk of the board meeting, which are supposed to be 5 mayors. There were 3 there, so somehow by default I got elected chairperson of that. Good news is our next meeting is February of 2022, and it'll be somebody else then. And I also spent 2 Zoom meetings with Cal OES, and I think I pretty well summed up my feelings tonight, so I don't need to go into that. So that's what I did. So item 7C, future agenda items.
I got one. I want to bring back the ordinance or the whatever it is we did. I don't remember if it was an ordinance or what. I think it was in April, May, June, somewhere back then, the council, you guys talked about the sale of vacant lots and decided that we weren't going to make the person selling the lot be responsible for the condition lot. It was mostly about weed abatement, and we were just going to put a little piece of paper in the docket. And so I talked to somebody, a local person that has bought 20-some-odd lots, who's a builder and wants to rebuild and stuff. And now neighbors are complaining about the dead trees on the lot. So you guys, when you pass that, you also talk about, see how it works and let's bring it back. We got all these abatement issues we're going to have to deal with. So maybe what we ought to do is, I'd like to see us maybe bring that back and talk about how good that paper stuck in that stack of closing documents is working. Because obviously it's not. Because this guy, and I know it's buyer beware, but maybe we need to make that a condition. And apparently there's some new ordinance, or apparently this is going to be dictated or spoken to by some other condition. But I think we ought to be proactive in that. And, we're talking about the problem with these dead trees. So if I want to sell my lot and I got 14 dead trees on it, I got to be responsible for that. I either got, we're not disclosing it, I mean, we're really not. We need to just make people take care of it,
I support bringing that back.
I think we should look at that. That's it. I don't know of anything else to bring back. I don't want to give anyone more money.
Opposed?
You got anything to bring up?
You woke her up.
I was making notes. No, I do not.
And Jody?
No.
Kevin got something to bring back?
Well, he's got a town manager.
I have an hour-long report that I'm going to give you.
Oh,
Is that okay?
okay, I'm going to go to sleep.
Actually, it's really quick. I relieved Susan of her duties, so she's not going to give you a community development report. I just wanted to congratulate Colette again on her award. I think it's very appropriate, and I'm very pro town employees receiving credit on some of these awards because we're doing hero work here, and there's other agencies out there that are getting credit for work because they have the time to put forward these applications. And I'm going to make sure I put the time forward. So I just want to kind of make sure that is, yes,
Good
thank
job.
you, thank you.
Good job.
Yes.
And you made Kevin look good, too.
No, that's not true. And obviously, most of my work is pretty much encompassed in today's agenda. And so if there's any questions for me, I can answer them at this point in time. If not, we can adjourn and get into closed session.
Any questions?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll adjourn our regular meeting at 10:39 and go into closed session.
Have you turned
It
it
is
off?